So picture this, if you will. All right, we're gonna go back in time a little. You're a little kid, just got out of school. You got a nice report card, maybe some A's, maybe some B's. Not too bad though. And your parents are proud of you, even though your dad will never say it to your face. He skirted out to get milk, but it's okay. You load up in the car with your mom, driving for a little bit to the nearest shopping area. The one with the mall and the Chick-fil-A and the Auntie Anne's pretzels, the Books A Million, the Barnes & Nobles. You know where it's at. And you see it right there in front of you. This big, beautiful building, Toys R Us. Right in front of you. Toys R Us. Beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye. Really makes me cry up. Anyway, hey guys, this is Jay, and this is Always Late, the YouTube channel. And today I'm late to the topic of Toys R Us. So let's get into it. What was Toys R Us, though? I have to backtrack. There are definitely people out there who may not know about Toys R Us, or at least the way it used to be. Maybe you're just too young. I gotta say, it's a little sad either way if you don't remember Toys R Us like that. I'd hate to live in a world like that. Time to elaborate. Toys R Us was a store that sold toys. Thank you for watching my video, and we'll see you in the next one. No, but seriously, I mean it. Toys R Us, the main thing was toys. Ever since its inception in 1957, it's always been toys. Simple enough. A true business, if I say so myself. But Jay, but Wikipedia says Toys R Us was founded in 1948. Okay, all right. Yeah, did you read the whole Wikipedia page that we got this from, though? Because I did. You see, in 1948, Charles P. Lazarus, what a fucking creepy name, founded Children's Bargain Town. Did I get that right? Yeah, Children's Bargain Town in Washington, D.C. Again, what a name. It sounds like you buy children here, not toys. Either way. Children's Bargain Town was actually a baby furniture store, not toys. So Toys R Us didn't really come into fruition until later with 1957, where the first Toys R Us opened up, and the main appeal was toys, not baby furniture. They had it. They also had clothes and other things, but it was mostly toys. The 1957 Toys R Us store that opened had everything you could think of, even the iconic logo with the backwards R. Beautiful. If we time travel a little bit further forward in the future into the 1970s or so, though, is when a lot of these popular brands started making things for toys. So that's where you got G.I. Joe and fucking Cabbage Patch Kids. A little bit into the 80s, you got the Transformers. Love me some fucking Transformers. Also in the 1970s, of course, there was Star Wars, which sold a fuck ton of toys then and now. So nothing's really changed. With all of these brands booming and selling toys, that really helped the number one toy seller, Toys R Us, boom in business as well. So, Charles P. Lazarus over there is like, thank you, you fucking lifesaver. We've got this little thing called Toys R Us, and we're going to sell all these fucking toys for you. And it worked. 2 peas in a pod. Things that also worked in tandem around this time is the toy sales affecting the broadcasting network. So if your toys were selling well, your show was going to get another season guaranteed. Also around this time, Toys R Us started to branch out into video games with Nintendo and Sega, which also helped the business boom, and it showed that they were able to adapt to the times and carry more than toys.
I thought it was cinnamon in the kitchen.
Also during this time, there were a couple of business buyouts and, transactions and boring stuff behind the scenes because of shareholders and stock markets or whatever. But we don't care about that here at Always Late. We just care about the fun stuff. Toys R Us eventually became more, though. It was more than video games and toys. It was clothing and furniture and electronics and culture. You see, Toys R Us was deemed a category killer. It's like a chain of stores that specialize in one product or service very well. Toys R Us specialized in children's entertainment and toys, specifically catering to children within the ages of 0 to 13. And those little rascals had a field day at these fucking stores, let me tell you. Including myself, but that was much later. We'll get to it. Enough of the old fucking Toys R Us. What about the new Toys R Us? In the early 2000s, Toys R Us actually rebranded, leaving that baby shit behind at Babies R Us. That's actually what the store is called. They opened a whole new franchise specifically catering for the babies, and Toys R Us was for the big kids, like Pampers. I'm a big kid now. I gotta say, it's genius. Toys R Us rebranded in the midst of all this to compete with Walmart, Target, and Kmart, who started getting these toy aisle sections, and you can't blame the parents for really going there because it's gotta be annoying to shop at Toys R Us as a parent. You know, your children are indecisive and snotty and begging for toys, whereas if we go to Walmart, Kmart, or Target, I can do my grocery shopping and maybe get you one toy, as opposed to the 50 million wide selection in these goddamn Costco-like aisles at Toys R Us. Traveling to Toys R Us was like going to a glorified Chuck E. Cheese without getting the pizza. And who wants that? Not to get too into numbers, but there was actually a $6.6 billion transaction behind Toys R Us, just to give you some perspective on the stock and worth of this company. Anyway, the fun part. Toys R Us was the shit. You wanted to go to Toys R Us because Toys R Us had everything. It was the product on every aisle. You walk into Toys R Us and boom, whatever the biggest, hottest selling product at the time was there to greet you. Whether it was Star Wars, a superhero movie, a Disney movie, whatever it was, there was gonna be promotional material on every aisle. And you had to have it. After you passed the holy front gates of Toys R Us, the entire store was your playground. Go wherever you want. Want to go check out Lego? Enjoy the Harry Potter, the Star Wars, especially Clone Wars in the early 2000s. There were also medieval knights and horses and pirates in Lego, and it was pretty fucking awesome. But also in the Lego section was fucking Bionicle. Holy fuck! Bionicle went hard. Okay, maybe Lego isn't your thing though. Come over here and check out the fucking electronics. We got dancing robots, walking dinosaurs, walkie-talkies, remote control cars, and spy gear. This shit was stocked full of batteries not included. Let me tell you, enough gear to make foreign countries shit their pants with the amount of tactical gear we were handing to these kids, including myself. Also near this section was Nerf guns because, of course, Nerf battles were core memories as a kid. Really staples of growing up. It got dangerous though when they started selling Nerf swords and battle axes and shields and tomahawks and throwing knives and all kinds of stuff. I got in trouble for beating the shit out of some family members and cousins and friends, for sure. At the very back though, near this section kinda, you know, in sort of a secluded, dark, concrete section was all the ride-in motor vehicles like Jeep and Halo Warthogs, and there was always like a pink Barbie car to be included in this section as well. Of course, kids had to pull up in a new whip. Skirt, skirt. Now, I'm a boy. I didn't like to go over to the girls section. That was gay and stupid. That was for little babies. They had Barbies. They had makeup. Ew. And babies. No. And temporary tattoos. But they were kind of cool actually though. I gotta admit. You might remember some temporary tattoos being in like the little cord turn knob machines at the front of the store. That was always really fucking cool. Along with like silly bands and weird knickknacks that definitely got lost in those popper things. You remember those popper things? Probably not. Okay, anyway. The girls section was always so distinctly pink, like overwhelmingly pink. And I always felt embarrassed as a kid if I had to so much as walk through or by these aisles. I don't know why. I also feel like the girls section was home to shit where the store didn't really know where to put anywhere else. Like Orbeez was always in the girls section. I don't know why. Also included in this girls section with that is like Disney movie merchandise. I don't know why. It's as if like boys weren't allowed to like movies like Mulan for some reason. Anyway, parched. We still filming? There was also a video game section, and I gotta say, any time that I walked through here, I felt like I was being monitored by all the security cameras, like fucking FNAF switching between these. This shit was fucking Fort Knox, I gotta say. I mean, the video games were behind bulletproof glass that was like 5 feet deep that would have taken any fucking Tom Cruise Mission Impossible sort of heist to get into. But even when you got the associate to come by and unlock it, it was behind like this impossible Rubik's Cube case and spider wrapped all kinds of different ways, like a fucking jigsaw puzzle. Only key holders could open up the glass protecting the kids from the games. And I gotta say, these guys were like Jedi Temple guards. They were the protectors of Epic Mickey and fucking Skylanders. But the video game section was also chock full of demos on these big TV monitors that were mounted at the top of the video game display cases, and this weird protruding controller that you couldn't steal, just like the ones at Walmart or Target. And they were always so fun to play and test out new games that were coming out. Also in the video game section were the movies. So you best believe back in the day I was begging for Shrek the Third from Toys R Us, and you best believe I got it. The game section also had smaller aisles that were chock full of accessories out the wazoo, like controllers, headsets, batteries, controller holders that look like Sonic and Iron Man and Hulk, just weird characters all the time. And of course, the game section got even more packed when the toy gaming craze sort of happened, and we had Skylanders and Disney Infinity and Amiibos. It was so weird seeing just hooks and displays of hundreds of little toy characters. Sorry. There's the old ball and chain. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the video game section is also where they kept a lot of the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards, which I wasn't really into at the time, but now I do see it similar to other retail stores. That's where they keep it. Yeah! My favorite section by far and away, though, was the action figure section. This was home to all kinds of shows, characters, IPs, like Ben 10, DC, Marvel, video game characters, whatever was hot at the time, like Gears of War or Destiny. They always had toys in this area. And it wasn't just for children. It was a lot of the higher up ages, like 13 and up, that also found their home in this little area. They had collectibles like recognizable brands such as NECA were home in this area. And it's where I started to fall in love with toys. I remember seeing NECA toys like Predator and Alien and just falling in love and just being so... And it got so ingrained in my brain that I still collect things like that to this day. Maybe it was just my young, ignorant mind, but I felt like there were less scalpers and collectors and more product at this time, so I never had any problem going a couple weeks later and getting that perfect toy that I wanted. Whereas now, shit sells out fast. I mean, getting something as simple as a decent Spider-Man figure is gonna be hard and probably upsold by collectors and scalpers. But anyway, that's a different topic entirely and not really what I'm trying to talk about today. Which sort of brings me up to my next point, though. What happened to Toys R Us? A moment of silence for Toys R Us. Toys R Us eventually shut down, with all the stores in the US closing in late 2018. But why? A lot of it can be chopped up to bad business decisions and debt, with the corporation filing for bankruptcy in 2017. But another reason is the increase in popularity of online shopping. It was bad enough that Toys R Us had to compete with more convenient retail stores like Walmart and Target, but now they were also competing with pretty much the internet and the rise of Amazon. It was just too much at the end of the day. I'd say the final nail in the coffin was toys just weren't the thing they used to be. The rise in video games made toys less and less desirable for kids. Of course, younger ages still enjoy toys, and even adults can still collect, but the masses started flocking to the digital world, and toys, they were left behind. I think this is an interesting point because many children today are still buying toys that we see on the shelves that are connected to video game IPs like Fortnite, FNAF, or Five Nights at Freddy's for the uncultured, and Minecraft. The toys on these shelves are spreading and breeding like fucking rabbits. However, the quality for all of these merchandising is less than I remember the toys back in my age being, and definitely not up to the standards that of, maybe your NECA toy. Maybe it's just nostalgia, or maybe it's me being spoiled from all the collector items of today, but who knows. Either way, Toys R Us closed, never to be seen again. Until it came back! Yes, shortly after, from the ashes like a phoenix, Toys R Us came from bankruptcy. Toys R Us came back in 2018 and opened some very select few stores in 2019, then relaunching their website, but a little thing that everyone looks back on fondly called COVID killed those dreams and the stores closed again. Just so fucking unlucky for them. In 2021, Toys R Us basically became a toy aisle comparable to Walmart or Target, but inside of Macy's of all places, which is just absurd. Now, they do have a large store in New Jersey, and supposedly they have plans to open a bunch of new standalone locations, but ultimately the brand is nothing compared to the once great titan of business it used to be. Toys were the means to create whole worlds for me when I was a kid. I had epic battles filled with lore that rivaled Elden Ring, featuring Superman, Hulk, the Transformers, Ben 10, Legos, and more. I know many of my friends were the same way. Toys helped us express our imagination and nurtured our creativity unlike any other means. I really miss Toys R Us. I only got to experience the wonderful joy of going a handful of times because the nearest store was like 30 minutes away from my house. And not to mention, but times were tough, being raised by a single parent in a recession, no less. But looking back, I cherish those memories, and they are so heartfelt and close to me now because I know that my mom endured all my decision and stupidity to take me to this beautiful, glorified ball pit and spend at least $30 on me for something stupid that I probably wouldn't care about a couple weeks later. My mom endured my indecision as I struggled to choose between the Ben 10 Omnitrix and the Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I went with the Omnitrix. But I know deep down my mom struggled, thinking that $30+ easily could have gone to groceries or the gas to get to the store in the first place, and yet she fought against all that anxiety and bought me these toys anyway. Don't get me wrong, we weren't in that bad of a situation. It's just like I said, it was a recession and she was a single mom and no one really had that money at that time. And at the end of the day, you never know what people are actually going through, and just, my mom is a saint. All I can think in my boomer-esque brain is that kids today will never really get to enjoy the love I had of going to Toys R Us. And who knows, maybe kids today get that same level of enjoyment out of going down a Walmart, Target, or Kmart toy aisle. Maybe parents today are doing the same thing my mom did, spending their hard-earned dollars on useless plastic for kids to enjoy, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, honestly, in the kind of economy that we are in today. I actually worked in a toy department for a small amount of time in one of those retail stores, and I wish I could say that I saw many of those heartfelt moments, but honestly, not too many. Instead, I saw a lot of arguing and putbacks and god-awful, torn-up, destroyed merchandise that I had to put back out and fix and distribute. God, I'm getting off track. It was horrible. Maybe I'm just jaded at this point too, though. I'd love to hear all of your stories if you have any from Toys R Us, or maybe you're a little bit younger and you do have a beautiful memory of getting a toy from one of those other places. Maybe you remember something from Toys R Us that I got wrong, or maybe your Toys R Us layout was different, or they had some special promotion, like when one of the Star Wars movies came out or one of the superhero movies came out. Maybe you are actually near the last location for Toys R Us, or you're near one of these newly opened relocations that they're talking about. I just want to hear about it all. Thanks for watching my video. I'm Jay, and I'll see you when I'm late to whatever I talk about next. Mwah. Kisses.